Willie D Live.
What's up, family? I'm about to tell you about a bad man I'm sure you probably never heard of. He was Texas's first black millionaire. Born on June 22nd, 1966, 3 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by Abraham Lincoln, and a little more than 1 year after the American Civil War ended, William McDonald was 40 years old when he moved to the Fourth Ward neighborhood of Terrell Heights. He deliberately designed a replica of the 3-story house that looked exactly like the one owned by Nathan Forrest, a savage who owned his daddy before the emancipation. He built up Dallas's black business district. He bought and fixed up foreclosed homes and rented or sold them to black people. He donated a building to the YMCA for minority kids because the white adults did not want them inside of a building where their children were playing. He founded the first black bank in Fort Worth. He opened the Gem Hotel so that black travelers could have a safe place to stay. And check this out, fam. The late, great William McDonald died on July 4th, Independence Day, 1950, at the age of 84. In a final act of defiance, he instructed his loved ones to bury him in close proximity to the Fourth Ward chapter of the KKK. I ain't got no problem with that. William McDonald was a bad man. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. So why haven't we heard of such a great guy? Why? All of these stories with black people wanting white folks to do stuff for them and they're being lazy and they just won't do anything for themselves. Why haven't they given us this story to inspire? Why? Why not put it out there that, hey, why can't you be more like William? Why isn't there stories? There should be millions of stories out there. After all, they really do want us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? They do want us to stop complaining about this thing called racism, right? You would think they would show us examples, right? Right? Wrong. Some white-dominated systems historically downplayed black pioneers to maintain narratives of superiority and control. You see, fam, when you highlight black achievements, you challenge these constructs, you empower marginalized communities, and expose systemic inequities. They don't want us knowing about our pioneers because it flips the script that they've been selling for generations. Yeah, when you see black excellence, it breaks the myth of superiority. That's what it's all about. That's what it's always been about. Mr. McDonald is just one of millions of black people who have achieved excellence in this country, who pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and got there anyway, despite all the obstacles that were placed in front of them. I'm talking about human obstacles. I ain't talking about just life. I'm talking about human obstacles where your government, your local officials purposely try to get in the way and run interference. Your members of law enforcement purposely try to run interference to derail your progress. That's right, I said it. Yeah, I know you don't like that. Now that truth be hurting, man. See, if I was lying, they'd just be dismissive. They'd just be like, this guy's talking crazy again. Get him out of here. But now, man. Now, see, they mess with your numbers when you tell the truth. They don't like you. See, when you ride for your people, that's when they don't like you. If they like you, that means you ain't riding for your people. That's how that go. So how did he get to the money? Education. Went to college in Tennessee, came back to Texas, became a teacher in Forney, Texas for several years before becoming a politician. And you know how that go. When these little black kids growing up, they see these examples of excellence by people that look like them, it inspires them. It lets them know they can do it too. But if they don't see those examples, if all they see is black people that look like they're destitute, relying on others, then they have a poor me type mentality oftentimes. They know exactly what they're doing. You've never heard of William McDonald because William McDonald is the standard for black excellence. And again, fam, he ain't the only one. Some may have not reached millionaire status, but that was so many millions. And think about this, fam. The man was born just 3 years after the Emancipation was signed. 3 years. So by the time he's 40 years old, he's already building. Just in 40 years, I'm talking just 40 years removed from slavery. His mama was a slave, his daddy was a slave. And he went and got it. So while we can make the argument that there is no excuse for us to go out there and get it, we cannot try to be dismissive of the role that some people play in trying to run interference to this day. See, so I'm all for going to get it. You know, I'm a go-getter. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from getting mine. It ain't a man born a woman that bad. So I'm going to get mine. But it's not lost on me that you have think tanks out there. People that just sit around and figure out ways to plot against black people and hold black people down. And I ain't talking about just grown black people. I'm talking about not just grown black people. I'm talking about our kids. They're targeting our kids before they're even born. When they build these penitentiaries, they have us in mind. And if we ain't committing crimes, then they're gonna have to manufacture a crime. They're gonna have to make up something like they did way back when they started the police force, when they started these slave patrols. Black people minding their own business, ain't doing nothing. That's him, get in the car. Next thing you know, this man doing a life sentence. For what? For being black. They just going around snatching black folks up off the streets. They say, you know what? Okay, we're gonna end slavery, a legal act, right? They always hide behind the law when they want to commit crimes. When they want to do, let me back up. When they want to commit evil. Because once they make it a law, now they can say it's not a crime. So they always create a law in order to get away with the evil deeds, right? So they'll go, all right, well, we can't do that because it's not a law. Oh, well, let's just make it a law. Just like they made slavery a law. We're gonna make it a law. Okay, so we're gonna make it illegal now to own a slave, own people, for people to own people. We're gonna make it illegal. Okay, cool. But we're going to make it legal for them to still be slaves if they end up in prison. They end up in jail. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, they seem to be some law-abiding people. They don't seem to be causing too much trouble. We just, we got to control them some kind of way. How can we do it? Just make up some shit, bro. I'm going to pick them up anyway and just make up something. So you pick them up, put them in jail, and you make them a slave again anyway. Because after all, the law says that we can do this. The law says we can make them work for free once we pick them up off the streets. And the same practices are going on to this day. See, for all of y'all that are always talking that they always complaining, this crying, blah, blah, blah. You think a motherfucker really want to wake up every day with this shit? You think people really want to get up to this? Does your short bus window licking slow ass really think black folks get a kick out of complaining? No, but we're not going to be silent so you can be comfortable. Yeah, so if you don't want us talking about this racist stuff, why don't you do something about it? Start with yourself. If you're really on our side, if you're really riding with us, if you really empathize with us, how about letting us tell you what needs to be done, and then you just getting it done? You ain't gonna do that though. See, that's too much like right. And the bottom line is, you really don't want black folks to rise. You really don't want black folks to be self-sufficient and independent. You think the only way that you can be happy is for black folks to be sad. And that's sad. No more talk.